Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is my pan that palette and my pan in every palette update. So I'm panning a lot of palettes, so if you're interested in seeing my progress, and then just keep watching. So I'm just going to, so structurally I usually start off with my Modern Renaissance palette, my Subculture, then I go into my what should be a single eyeshadow, then my pan in every palette, then my looks, and then my palette percentage. Seems like a lot, but it was so confusing the last time. So I'm going to start my Modern Renaissance palette. Let me show you where I was with her the last time. Yes, I hit a lot of goals this time actually. I had so many goals set for myself, I overdid it. And here is where I am now. So I don't know if it's obvious, but I hit a lot of goals. So I went from 179.32 down to 178.95. So I went down in this palette 0.37 grams, okay? 0.37 grams, and I used it all the bloody time. So let me go through the uses. So we're going to start at the very top row and go across. So golden ochre, I used golden ochre 12 times and my goal was to use it 10 times, and in person it only looks disrupted. Doesn't even look like there's a dip. Bon Fresco, my goal was to finish it. It took 6 more times to finish. Antique Bronze, then I used that 6 times. Love Letter, my goal was to use it 3 times and I used it 5 times. Cypress Umber, then I used that only the 1 time. Next row was Raw Sienna and I used that 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, 5. Burnt Orange. It says I didn't use it, but I know that I did because I can remember 3 looks. Red Ochre, I used that 3 times, which was the goal. Venetian Red, I used it 4 times, which the goal was 3. Warm Taupe, I used that 5, 10, 15, 20, 21. I used Warm Taupe 21 times. I use it in my brows and as a contour as well as a crease shade, and if I use it all on one day, it's still just the 1 time. It's starting to thin out all right. And then Realgar I used twice. So I went down 0.37 grams. So my goal this time is to be a bit more strategic, and I'm going to focus in on how am I going to do this? How? I think I'm going to focus in on the reds this time, not the other ones. Like if I dip into them, of course I will dip into them, but I want to focus on these red ones. Okay, so we're being strategic. So I haven't a goal specifically, it's just these 3 reds need to be the front and center of everything that I do. Front and center. Okay. So for Subculture, Subculture is next. Let me show you where I was the last time with Subculture and where I am now with Subculture. There's a lot of difference here, a lot of difference. So weight wise, before we do anything further, because this is just what throws me completely, I went from 191.76 grams down to 191.36, which means I used 0.4 grams, which means I used more than the Modern Renaissance, which I don't know how, because I use so many shades out of the Modern Renaissance all the time versus this one. But anyway, let me just, so my goal the last time was to use Dawn 10 times, and I did that. I used Dawn 10 times and I hit side pan on Dawn. And the other goal I had was to use Edge 5 times, and I went well over that too. So let me just go through the uses. So Dawn, I'm going to cross, I used Dawn 5, 10, 14 times. So I went over on Dawn. This one here, Destiny, has a little bit of a dip in it now, bloody finally, and I only used it 3 times. I cannot use that as a crease shade, I just can't. It's like black, it's just like black on the crease. So I use it, like you said, as a liner, and I use it as a complete base, and I have it on today as a base. Adorn, I've now hit side pan in Adorn, and I used it 3 times. All Star I used 6 times. Mercury has a dip in it now, and I use it once. Axis, I hit pan the last time, I use it once. Next row, Roxy, I did not use it this time. Electric, I hit side pan and I use it 3 times. Fudge, no go, I didn't use it. New Wave, use it twice. Untamed, I used it twice. Edge, the goal was 5 times, and I used Edge 8 times. And Rowdy I used once. Rowdy I used once, so it looks a lot different. I hit 3 side pans this month, and we have some dips, and I went down 0.4 grams. And the goal this time, gosh, what is the goal this time? Okay, the goal this time is to focus in on Adorn a bit. I'm going to say use Adorn 5 times, and there's a reason for that. I want to go well over 5, but the last time I put 10 on everything, and there's not enough days in the month unless you combine them into one look, which makes no sense. So I want them to be their own focus look. So I'm going to say 5 times. There's dips in everything in this palette, which is great. Fudge, I don't know if you guys know, but I'm working on like 3 browns, so this will be the last one to go, so I'm not focusing on it as much, but it's getting love. Then for my single, I'm always working on a matte cream shade, but the last time I decided to pull it in out of a palette. So I pull this in from my Makeup Revolution Stripped and Bare that I got from Pork. There's 13 grams in it, and I'm going to show you where I was the last time. And my God, look where I am now. That is some Juicy Lucy Pan wool. It is huge. Huge, 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 huge. Now, how many times did I use this? Let me just, Jeannie, I'm not up there with it. Oh yeah. So I use this cream shadow 21 times. I don't set my whole eyelid. I set from the crease up to the brow bone. That's what I do every single time. And it's such a lovely bone shade for my skin tone. I absolutely love the formula of this one. I've panned one of these ones before. They're so nice. I should have a close-up on the screen. This shade in the middle here is a satin pink shade, and I've been using it as a highlighter or as a bit of a face powder in the middle to give me a bit of a glow, and I love it. And I've been using this pink shade as well, and I might hit pan in it. Like, it's great to pull in this palette because I'm using other things in it. And because I hit pan in this palette, I now have increased my palette percentage. Yes, I did. I didn't weigh this palette. I don't know why, I just didn't. Then for my Pan in Every palette by Lady Pans a Lot on Instagram, shall link her down below. So I will show you where I was the last time and where I am now. I hit the goal. I'm so happy about it. I can't believe it. I hit pan. So I hit pan. It's actually kind of a deep pan. When you look at it in person, it's like a deep pan. Can you see that? It's deep. So I asked you guys how many uses you thought it would take to hit pan. The highest number we had was 30. The lowest number we had was 12 for the shimmer shade, and it took me 13 uses to hit the pan. I tried it as a highlighter once. It is obviously way too dark for me as a highlighter, but I use it because the base pigment is deep, but when you turn sideways, the shine was gorgeous. So if you had a deeper skin tone, that would be gorgeous. Such a fantastic shade. I absolutely love it. I've been using the entire palette. I forgot to say, this is the Going Coconuts from Colourpop. I used the entire palette. I used every shade in this palette several times because I don't want to just work on one shade to the exclusion of everything else. I don't want to do that. I want everything to be used. That's the point. So there's my Juicy Lucy Panuel. Yay! We're rolling in another palette. So we're rolling in another palette. I weighed that as well. So that went from, where is it? It went from 100.79 grams down to 100.53, which means I used it 0.26 grams. So not including the cream shade, I used up a total of 1.03 grams of eyeshadows this month. Not including this. That is amazing. I like adding up the total number. So I'm going to be strategic on what I roll in that shadows place, and then we'll do our palette percentage figures thing. Okay, so I said that I would roll in this Nikki Tutorials and Beauty Babe palette. I have not been having the best experience with this. A lot of people love it. I always think there's something wrong when I don't like things that everyone else loves. Anyway, how am I going to show you this, like, without blinding you? Okay, so here it is. There is 3 pink shades in here. There's this one, and this one. What about that one up there? I'm going to use this palette and pick a shade to pan, but I'm feeling like it's going to be this shade down here so that it will go with my Modern Renaissance palette. I would like to pick that color, but I think it'd be too easy. So let me just swatch out these 3 pinks shades. Okay, so we have swatched 4 shades here. This was the shade of like that pink. So it's between these 3 here. And I'm thinking it's going to be this one because to pair it with the 3 shades in here, I think that, what do you think would go the best with that? I think this one, the second one down, which is called Pride. I think it will. So that's the shade I think I'll focus on. We're going to say that Pride is the, yeah, I'll just go for it. I'll commit. Pride is the shade I'm going to focus on. I will insert a close-up because this is just too difficult. It's too difficult. Right. I'm hoping by using it more, it will make me get more used to it. It's a pressed pigment palette and I'm just having an awful time with getting it to blend. But anyway, that's what I'm going to work on. So I'm pretty happy about that. What a successful update it has been, because it really has been, which I'm delighted about. I don't know how it will be for March because obviously I have exams, so it might not be. So for palette percentage figures time. So last time I had 72 eyeshadow palettes. 5 of the palettes had pan, which meant I had 6.94 percentage of palettes with pan. This time I now have 70 palettes. I have decluttered 2 palettes. Almost, yeah, I've decluttered 2, I was going to say almost 3. I've decluttered 2 palettes, so I now have 70. 7 palettes now have pan because I hit pan in the Going Coconuts and the cream eyeshadow for Makeup Revolution, which means now I have 10%. Woo! Oh my god, I like of palettes with pan. So I have now gone up 3.06 from the last time, you know. So, because the last time I was 6.94 and now I'm 10%. So, gone up 3.06, girl. That was my update, guys. How did you get on this month with your usage of your shadows? I'm actually really interested about that. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you the next time. Take care. Bye.